All right, greetings, family, friends, and the world. This is Mikael Eric Harris, better known as the Juice, also known as the Alkaline Water Guy. How is everyone doing on this beautiful night? I say good evening, good night, good night, good night. Is I guess what I meant to say. Um, Yesterday, which was Sunday, tonight is the night after Sunday, which is which was October 26, 2025. That's October 26, 2025. And this is Fight Fire with Truth. This is Fight Fire with Truth. And tonight we're going to be speaking on Life of Mikael, question and answer part. This will be part um, 11 and 12, but this is part one, but it's 11 and 12 of all the time that I've shared. I did a lot of sharing about information off and on, and it's been a little mix up throughout information between me leaving Detroit, going to Germany, from Germany to Mississippi. Actually, I'm at the point between Mississippi and going into Atlanta at this point in time. So a lot of stuff I missed out because I've been noticing I'm just doing a lot of talking and conversating, but just trying to remember a lot of things that I went through as well. But before we get started, let me start off with the prayer, and I'd like to thank G1 for being in. Actually the one who actually kind of talked about memoirs of my past up until today, up until the point where we're at now. He's one to kind of share with me that about sharing my memoirs of what has happened between me going through my spiritual awakening, me leaving Detroit and coming back home. And it's a lot that's missing, y'all. It's a lot that's missing that I'm trying to fathom and remember going through my mind. But I mostly been talking more about the switch from, well, let me say the prayer first and then go to what I'm talking about. As we start off, blessed be thou, Father of the universe, that bring forth all living creatures forth from the earth. Blessed be thou, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be the Father of Israel. Blessed be the Father of 12 tribes of Israel. Thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you to keep giving us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, life, health, and strength, food, shelter, and clothing. Let us be happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, and prosperous in all that we do. We ask you to keep leading and guiding us so we can help lead and guide others in your knowledge, your word, your ruach, and your way. We ask you to keep us in every way, help us in every way, and allow us to know and understand what it is you will have us to do in this day and time. We ask you to forgive us of any sins that we have done in time past, today's time, and time to come. We ask you to help us in every way and let us acknowledge our sins that we have done and ask for forgiveness of the things we have done as well. We ask you to help us in every way, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial, or spiritual. In all these things we pray. Hallelujah. 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 Thank you, Father. Say again, Mike. Say again. Who? You need the love. You need the love, right? That's right. We all need the love. So other than that, greetings everyone. Malcolm Bowles, how you doing, my brother? I haven't seen you in quite some time. We got it's at OT40505 over here on Instagram. Greetings, just to see you here. But other than that, this is the life of Mikael, which is myself. And last week, I think I remember just sharing information when I was in at Mississippi, when after being there for quite some time, I think I shared, one of the prophecies that has happened that was given to me in a vision. One of the visions. There's been a lot of things that I can share. I don't know if I should share them on here, but another one. I don't know if I shared this one. I shared the one about the first thing that this prophet told me in the dream was God got big plans for you. And I didn't share the last point of it, but a point of the last, she said, in between in the dream, she's in the vision, she said, God got big, she said, three bad things gonna happen and something good gonna happen. I shared all that. I believe I shared that last week as well. Um, a lot of those things has happened in that vision. The first thing she told me is happening now. The last thing that she told me was the first thing that I did. And that was at that time. From there, I was there when the 9/11 happened. Uh, I told about my cousin Butch. He stayed with me 3 times there. He was the one that was with me. He was actually the one who cut my hair as well after I had the dream. What else may have happened? It's so much that has happened. I learned a great deal of information. Went through ordeals there. Made a lot of friends there. Made friends. It was more like, in a sense, it was more like frenemies in a sense. Friends, but some was frenemies because it's just that, like I said, I'm that person that people love to hate.
I'm easy to love.
Yes, son. So, all right, Junior. All right. So, it was just a lot of situations I went through there. I was at the House of Israel, was there for 8 to 10 years. From there, left from there, went to Shalom, and was there for a few years. There is where I met Junior's mother through one of my close friends, which is Brother Page. And I was sharing it with his father, but that stood together. I was more like always been the thumb, the person that always stood out in my own way. And it was just a lot of information, and a lot of that would be with friends to share that would come out as well. More information that would come out from the things that happened there. Uh, got with Tish, which was Junior, which is my youngest daughter and my youngest son's mother. I shared about them being born and had to have heart murmur surgery, both of them being born with the George syndrome. Oh, man, there's so much other stuff that I could say, and it's like vague um, that I can share, but I'm just trying to remember everything in the forefront of my mind at the moment. And there's a lot I can bring out behind the scene. But right now, uh, that's when my mother, stepfather, and 3 of my siblings had moved back in '82 when I was still in Detroit. They moved to Mississippi. Hmm. I'm just mostly on the spiritual path, mostly. So, like I said, a lot of things happen. End up going to Shalom. I shared that in last week's information as well, 9 and 10. Me, Cephas, and Willie Sterling went to Shalom. Ended up going to Shalom after a certain mix-up. Let me share this point of view. Certain mix-up happened. This brother named Eric, this brother named Eric, and Cephas, which is been Israel. We was looking for a place, like to have a place that we can make like a community center. We was looking for a place that we can have a community center, and it was this other brother named Shepaniah, not Zephaniah, but I didn't get his name was Shebaniah. He was a young brother, you know. But as I said, me, Eric, Cephas, and Shebaniah, I had my own place at this time. Um, we was looking for a place to have like a community center, for the community and for to help build with the knowledge we knew that Brother Divine was sharing. Because as far as we knew, Brother Divine knew the truth, right? And it's just coming to me. Just remember about the reason why we end up leaving the house of Israel. And I didn't share all this before, but I'm going to share this point today. So we end up finding a little place that was for rent. So me, Eric, and Cephas and Chef and I, we was there. We was looking at this place. And it was not too far, right down the street from my home where I was staying there on Booker Street. Um, in Jackson, Mississippi, from where I was staying at. And so we looked at it. We was talking about, we already been talking about trying to find something. And next thing you know, this brother named Shebaniah, right? He went back and told Brother Divine and HOI, I think MIT, Minister in Training, MIT Ministers in Training. He went back and told them we was trying to make our own. We were trying to find our own place to make our own place of worship. He went back there and told them that. And that wasn't, we already had said what we was talking about doing. We was trying to find a place where, we can make business and something to do business out of, you know what I'm saying? And, we was loyal to the house of Israel, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what we knew the truth was at, as far as we knew, because we learned the Bible there. So this brother named Shebaniah went back and told Brother Divine in the MIT, guess he was trying to get under the, trying to get close to, I don't know what it was. But he went back and told them we was trying to get our own place. So they had like a little meeting with us, right? They said, so y'all trying to get your own place to have your own, and we was like, what? He said, y'all trying to get your own place to have a worship at and stuff like that. I'm like, what are he talking about? And instead of him understanding what we were saying, he was actually going with what they were saying. And we sat down. We had like, man, number one is we're men first. But we was young men, but we was men. So we speaking on behalf of what we knew and what we were doing and trying to get started. Because we trying to have a business of our own. We trying to make sure we have a business, but it wasn't excluding from the place of worship. It was just making a business, trying to make something happen, right? So they call themselves schooling us or sitting down scolding us or whatever. And me and Steve, we was like, we not, if me, Steve, and Eric, we stood our own ground. And we called old boy a lie. We knew that he was, right then, we didn't even deal with him no more. You know what I'm saying? With that dude, in a sense, we just kind of like distanced ourselves from. But it was the way that things happened, the way he went back and lied, and we really was going to surprise Brother Divine on the situation. But it was just something we was just trying to do, trying to build, to make something happen, But he made it look like we was trying to go and make our own place of worship and get people in. That was nowhere in our thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So that was really the beginning of my and our separation from the house of Israel. That was the beginning. That was the really start of everything. So, I don't know if I should go deep into this because of what all happened, because whatever happened. But I remember it started getting to the point where now it was already a slight division, but really the division started that really kind of grew in there, kind of like Saul and David. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that. Yeah, in a sense, it was kind of like the Saul and David situation. Innocent on one end and jealousy on another, you could say, or what have you. But the point is that you can't make nobody think no other than the way they think. If a person thinks something, that's the way they think. You can't change it. You can just give them your point of view, tell them what it is that you know or what it is that you stand on. But if a person thinks the way they think, ain't nothing you can do about it. So it got to the point, at this point in time, okay, Miss Joe. So at this point in time now, it gets to the point now is one time I may have shared this, but I don't know if I shared it last week or not. So now we're getting to the point we're still coming there and to the house of Israel. But like I said, it's a distance like happening now. So, and this, like I said, this is becoming to the point of near the end of us separating, me, Fred, and me and Cephas and Willie separating ourselves. But what happened was this. I happened to go on a Wednesday night and I had ended up seeing something in the Bible about the calendar. I'm trying to understand about the calendar now. So I asked a certain question, and me and Cephas had ran. Me and Cephas, we was like, in a sense, kind of recruiting. We was talking to people and telling them to come on down, trying to get people to come to, to learn more truth than what we've been taught in the Bible about through the scriptures, according to what the world teach or what the world teach, right? So we end up inviting this sister to come to Bible study. I think it was on a Wednesday night. I got there late. Cephas had got her there. Now, Brother Vine and all them, they didn't know that me and Cephas invited the woman there. Cephas was there with her. By the time I got there late. So I get there, and everybody there. Now, she had to get, because I think she had to go to class or had to go. She was working at Jackson State at the time. So she had to leave, but before she left, I was asking a question after I got there. Like I said, I was asking about the calendar at this time. Remember, it was about the calendar. So I asked a question about the calendar, and I also understood how people can take your question, change your question, make your question their question, and answer their own question, but seem like they answered your question. I come to understand that at this time. So now what happened was I asked a question about the calendar, and when did the calendar change, or how did it change, or what have you. And that ended up happening. He ended up answering the question a certain type of way. But the woman, she had to leave. But I wanted to know the question. He said, if you want to know something, just ask. Like I always say, if you want to know something, just ask. So he answered the question in the way he wanted to answer, but he didn't answer the question the way I asked it. So I asked him again. I said, yeah, but that's not the way I asked the question like this. And she ended up, she left. I don't know if it was because of the question I asked or whatever, but she ended up leaving. And I ended up snapping. I'm going to tell you what ended up happening. I snapped. Because like I said, I've been under, the way things have been going, I've been going under a lot of situations there, right? So what ended up happening was this. So I asked the question again. And I think the lady left, from what my remembrance, how I went. So I remember I'm sitting down. So he came back there and he got over here and he started saying what he was saying to me, whatever. And I don't know what he said or how it went, but I remember snapping. I stepped and I was going, I just asked a question. I stood up and I was snapped. I snapped. I didn't realize it. But this brother named David, he was Mike. And I was going off. I forgot how it went, but I was going off. He said, Mike. He shook me. I said, what? And then when I got off, I seen Brother Vine, he backed up like that, like his eyes got big, but I snapped. And like I said, David, he was in Mike. I said, what? So I didn't know if his quote unquote MITs or whatever was standing around, whatever. So I ended up leaving. I don't know if it was getting ready to be something or not, but I always been able to hold my own. But I didn't know if it was getting ready to be something or not. But I ended up leaving. But after then, he wouldn't answer my questions. So now I'm sitting in the back. Now I come to the Sabbath. I'm getting up. So he asked questions because like I said, I started getting good when it came to when he asked questions. I was getting good at it. I don't know if I shared with you. I think I shared with y'all already about the question about the reason why. And if I didn't share, this happened earlier on before I get to this point. When I really started learning the Bible. I'm gonna tell you this story. I don't know if I told you this already, but if I didn't, so you don't miss it. It was like a high holy day, right? And this is, I don't know what year this was. It was like 88, no, not 88. 90, 98, 99, could have been 2000, around that time. But it was a high holy day. I think it was around Day of Atonement. I believe it was around that time. Don't know. It was around one of the high holy days. But the place was full. It was packed. So everybody, he asked a question about why did the Creator make Aaron the head over the priesthood? Why did the Creator make Aaron the head over the priesthood? Aaron the head of the priesthood, though Aaron went against and made the statue at the time when Moses went up into the mountain, right? So I remember that was the question. I remember this clear as day. That was the question. Why did he make Aaron? He said Aaron was weak as sweetened water. That's what he would always say. Aaron was weak as sweetened water. So why did he make Aaron the head over the priesthood? And I'm doing just like I'm doing now. And it hit me. So everybody was raising their hand, right? Like I said, this is during Sabbath school. And I told you I loved Sabbath school, right? You learned a lot in Sabbath school. So at this time, he asked that question. And this was just going around. This is going around according to, like we was there, and this is what we was on at the time, however it came up. So when he asked the question, everybody's raising their hand. Everybody raising their hand. So he was there, okay, I'm going to let you answer, you answer, you answer. Then he went to Bishop Smith and then Mikael, this other, he was, I don't know if a preacher or a bishop or what have you, but his name was Mikael, Bishop Smith. And then he got me last, right? He said, you're going to get me last. I said, okay. So, oh, there's a good one right here. That's the point, though. So, where we at? I just seen it not too long ago. So, when he asked the question, well, why did the Creator make Aaron the head over the priesthood? Right? And everybody's raising their hand. Everybody came and said, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. This is all the people that every time somebody, he said, nope, that's not the answer. Nope, that's not it. That's what he kept telling everybody, right? Said, nope, that's not it. I think it was in 6, I believe, because I ran across it a couple of days ago. Nope, that's not it. That's what he kept telling them. So, no, it's not this far up. Then, when he got to me, I said, I got it. He said, Mikael thinks he got it. I said, nope, I got it. I know the answer. Right? So, I'm surprised I ain't coming right up on it right now because I was going to tell you. But what it was it was the budding of Aaron's rod. It was the budding of Aaron's rod, right? I thought I remember. Thought I had just saw it last week or a few days ago. I didn't. Well, I guess I'll come up on it later. But the budding of Aaron's rod. And when I read it, right? When I read it, I broke it down. I said, this is the reason why Aaron was over. This is the reason why Aaron was over. Aaron was over because he put his name on Aaron, on the tribe of Levi. On the tribe of Levi, and he was over the Levites at this time when they came out to dang, where is it at? I've seen it. And that's not in my face right now. It's in Numbers. I just saw it. I thought I saw it a few days ago, but I guess it's not coming up right now. I know I saw it. But the point that I'm getting at is it was the budding of Aaron's rod. And when it said, and when I read it, he said, when I read it, he said, why did he I think I'm close. Yeah, go right there. Chapter 17, Aaron's rod. Right there. Numbers chapter 17. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel. Verse 3 says, I'm just going to jump down there. And thou shalt write Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi. That was the answer. And Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi. One rod shall be for the head of the house of their fathers. And this was Aaron's rod. And then over here, 18, it said, and it came to pass that on verse 8, shall I say. Number 17 and 8 says, and it came to pass that on the morrow, which is the next day, Moses went into the tabernacle of witness. And behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded and brought forth buds and bloomed, blossoms, and yielded almonds. I said, that's the reason why Aaron was over the Levites, and the Levites was the priestly tribe. Because of that right there in Numbers chapter 17. Then Brother Vine said, well, why did he make Moses? And first thing in my mind was to say, well, that wasn't the question you answered, but I didn't do that because I thought it would have been disrespectful to Brother Divine. So that happened earlier on. And in the time of earlier on, it was a sister there, I forgot her name. When Ricky, his name is Ricky Jackson, but now he calls himself Jehozadak, Brother Jehozadak, and he's actually over the house of Israel now because Brother Divine has passed on. But he's over the house of Israel now not in Jackson, Mississippi. I forgot. He's in Mississippi now, but he has the house of Israel on Facebook. I think he have a picture of Brother Divine and a lot of MITs with him on Facebook with him. But the key that I'm getting at is that when he said, well, why did he make Moses that? And I started to say, well, that wasn't the question you asked, but I'd have felt like that would have been disrespectful, But like I said, it was a lot of controversy that I had started going through. And this was the last that I was just sharing with you before I got on that right there about the situation about me raising my hand. He wouldn't call on me after I snapped on the Wednesday night when I'm asking a question, and he said, man, you coming here with all these this and that. Now, I remember that's how he started off on me. With all these stupid questions and this and that. And I said, boy, I snapped. I snapped. So when I snapped, like I said, that was the beginning of the end. Really, the beginning of the end was when me, Cephas, Eric, and Severnaya, which lied on us, saying we trying to make our own temple. He went and lied and said that. But that was one point when I just shared with you with this, when the sister, I forgot her name, when a lot of time I started raising my hand when I was answering a lot of questions. And Brother Jehozadak was sitting in the back, Ricky Jackson. Ricky Jackson was sitting in the back, and he would answer a lot of questions. I think he had a Smith Bible Dictionary back in the back or whatever, but he would answer a lot of questions. If we wouldn't get it before the day was over, he would end up answering a question that never got answered because he was sitting in the back and he always shared information. But I was starting to pop on answers when it came to the scriptures. So the button of Aaron's rod is the reason why Levi was the head of the priesthood, and Aaron was over them because Aaron was he was the man under Moses at that time. So the Creator made Aaron the head and high priest, and the tribe of Levi the priestly tribe over the 12 tribes. So, and I said that's what happened. But he said, and then what tripped me out is that right after the service, Brother Vine kind of made me look like I didn't answer the question. Like I told you, some people can ask a question and then they won't answer your question. They'll take your question, turn your question into their question, answer their own question and make it look like they answered your question, when really that wasn't the question. And I picked that up a long time. Like I said, I've been in this way of life a long time. I understand a lot. And I understand when someone's trying to be manipulative as well. So I've come to understand a great deal of information in the 30 years since I went through my spiritual awakening. So I was at that time learning and growing from that point. Even I'm still growing today, but it's a lot I've come to know. So that happened at that time. But this sister said when Brother Jehozadak was sitting in the back, Yerusalem was sitting in the back and he answered the question. Then I started beating him. She said, Brother Juice, you beating Brother Book back there. And I was like, man, I was shocked when I started really seeing how I started learning the scriptures, the Bible, the word, Genesis to Revelations at this time. Then after that is when the 17. Glad I can remember that now. Hopefully I can remember that. But that was number 17, the button of Aaron's rod. The reason why the tribe of Levi was the priestly tribe over the out of the 12 tribes. Numbers chapter 17. Some people know it, some people don't. But that was the question asked. I answered it, and then he made it look like that I didn't answer the question. So we get out after Sabbath school. Now this brother named Zephaniah, the brother Zephaniah, I remember this clear as day. I said, man, I answered that question. He said, no, you didn't answer the question. I said, yeah, you fool too. I said, yeah. I just said, you can see the ones whose eyes is open and the ones who's just following along with whatever somebody say. And I see that clear as day through people of today. I see it all through the internet. People can't see. I'm not saying that everything I'm saying is fact, but what I come to know, I can show you, and you can see it in the word, but people are still blind because one thing is they're following either man or they're following what they've been taught instead of looking at what the word actually say. That same thing is going on and applies today. So, back to my story. So, like I said, now we're at the point where like I said, Shebaniah, I think his name was Shebaniah, he lied and said, we trying to make our own temple. They call themselves, pulling us to me, Cephas, Eric, and Shebaniah sitting there. He said, yeah, they want to have, I said, man, what you talking about? I wanted to jump on that dude. I wanted to fight him. Said he lied. Directly, straight up lied on us, right? I really wanted to fight him. But, I didn't realize the plan at the time, but it was just our time to get ready to go. So now, I'm in the back. Now, like I said, now this is after the situation. Now that happened first. Now comes the time I'm asking the question about the calendar. And the lady leaves that me and Cephas invited to come. And then he's coming, man, you asked these stupid questions. And when I don't know, man, I snapped. I snapped, went up and I was going off, right? Now he said, Mike. And that, to me, it looked like the brother like this, boy, they don't know. They don't know. I'll fight. I grew up fighting. And I don't mean one or two people. I fight groups. You know what I'm saying? I used to fight groups of people. If anybody out there know me from when I was growing up, they know. You know what I'm saying? And not just here in Detroit. But just saying in general. I always held my own. So I ended up leaving. Now he's not answering any questions for me no more. Or if he asks a question, I want to answer it, he's not calling my name no more. So now Sabbath school is coming around or what have you. I'm raising my hand. He ain't calling on me. I'm raising my hand like this. I'm like this. People looking, say he ain't calling on me. So people are beginning to see situations. See, when you are a thumb, it's different from the other fingers. This is a part of him, but this is always different compared to the four fingers. Without that thumb, it's hard for your finger to really navigate and work. And I was like a sore thumb that showed and shared and not making someone look bad, but bringing information out that people need to see, but not pointing the finger saying, look at that. I ain't doing that, but I'm just showing, look at this and look at this. Look at this and look at this. Not trying to make nobody look bad, but just showing the difference. And that's what I would do, And end up me and Willie, he ended up seeing me raise my hand. He said, man, that don't seem right, man. He's supposed to be a man of the credit, and he's not calling on him, man. He got his arm. He just got his arm raised. So End up, that's when me and Cephas, I don't remember too much more behind that, but me and Cephas and Willie end up leaving. And like I said, we was over Willie's house until we went to the Shalom. We went to Shalom 3 weeks later. Now we there, and we started learning more information. We start understanding with Brother Herman Taylor, Brother Yusuf, and Brother Joseph, and Brother Robinson. Brother Robinson. They were the three that was over there, and we came there, and then we just kind of fit right in. We were learning, picking up information, learning information. And also, I think I shared with y'all the same thing I shared with Brother Sean on Facebook. This is what Brother Page ended up sharing with us about Emmanuel, was the same one in chapter 8 of Isaiah 7, going into chapter 8. That's Isaiah's son. But the name was changed. And all it did is speed up the process. I think I shared that last week. So we found that out in our process of moving around. So we ended up going to Shalom and found out more information. And this is when they really wasn't into the New Testament. I didn't say really, they wasn't into the New Testament, because Brother Elisha was really breaking down and saying that he was calling Jesus the hippie on J. He wouldn't say G, he'd say JC, the hippie on the stick. That they would call him. I'm like, man, that's kind of wild, but that's what they would say. But we kind of got away, we had really gotten away from the New Testament, because now we're learning more information. Now we're learning about Marcion. Brother Elisha shared that with me, Marcion, which I had information I've shared before. Now we're learning more about the Council of Nicaea. This is when I've come to learn about the Council of Nicaea. I think I shared this last week, about them having all these gospels that they had to start the New Testament. They put them under a table, and then they said the next day, whatever end up on top of the table, we're going to use them to start off the New Testament. That's when at the top of the table they end up Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Now, I did the research on that myself. Seen this. This is not what's told to me. I done researched this, and I actually had it to the point where it was 400 bishops of the Council of Nicaea that Constantine had put together, and this and that. So the stuff I share, I'll tell you what I looked up. I found, I researched, I went to the library. I found a lot of information I'm telling you about. End up seeing in the library, this was before I left the house of Israel, but in the library, when me and my brother-in-law, we went and we saw when King Constantine was fighting Maximus, or they had a battle, and then King Constantine saw a flame across in the sky and said, by this sign thou shalt conquer. So the cross is the symbol of Christianity. So you put all this stuff together and start seeing, okay, man, I'm starting to understand certain things. This is your growth in knowledge and information. So as you start to grow in your knowledge and information, you start to see things differently than what we've been taught. So my growth, I'm still growing. Like I said, now we at Shalom. Learn a lot of information. This is where I first met my brother Malachi, performing. I think he performed in Mississippi first. I met him, met this young lady, this young lady named Alonia. She was short. Alonia met brother Dr. Whitaker. He actually made a book called Medicine later on, but that was before he made the book. But Dr. Whitaker, Sister Kaya, which was another sister that we knew. We knew a lot of friends. I had a lot of friends. We had a lot of friends, and we started traveling. We started doing a lot of different things, traveling and things like that. Going to Atlanta, going to Cincinnati, and doing things like that, and just making friends everywhere we went. And at this time, "Keep It to Yourself" was my quote unquote hit single, and a lot of people got to know "Keep It to Yourself" through me performing that and dancing and performing that song. Malachi would perform, and other people. 12 Tribes had a beautiful in Elisha's camp, or I'm saying Elisha's camp, but out of Cincinnati, there was this group called 12 Tribes. They had a beautiful CD at one time. Now I can remember that. I almost forgot about that. They had a beautiful CD, and this brother that he was more like he would play the music, but he was more like what would you call him? The kind who don't like a roster. He was more like a roster. He looked more like a roster, even though he was with the Hebrew Israelite community, right? So it's just a lot that we were doing, and then what ended up happening after. So much that happened in between all that. It's a lot that happened. I actually shared. I think last week I may have shared as well, and it was 2003. I think Latasia was already born. It was November 2003. No, October of 2003. October of 2003 when we did Juice Takes the Floor. It was October 2003. Junior wasn't born until the following month. That was in November 2003. That's when he was born. But in October 2003, we did Juice Takes the Floor, and I actually have that in my post. I believe y'all can pull that up anywhere except for in Instagram. But Juice Takes the Floor the audio is in there. And at this time, I shared information about in 10 years that we could probably go find some land, maybe in Africa or whatever, but we could save up money about this time. And you can hear the information about that I've shared. It's in the post. You should be able to pull them up. Facebook, YouTube, excuse me, or any of the other platforms that I'm in besides Instagram, because Instagram, I don't believe you can hit the link and it'll come up. But you can hear the information. But also in that same information, you can hear the disdain or the negativity in that conversation to kind of give you a little bit of understanding about, instead of people really listening and understand where I'm coming from, how people are really against, and mostly you can listen for yourself. You can hear for yourself, in the information, So there's so much more that I can't even. Me after that is at this time me and Tish was together with Juice Takes the Floor. Me and Tish, she was pregnant with Junior, but we had Latasia already, which is my youngest daughter, and now it's coming to a point in time where we was traveling, because like I said, I don't know if I shared last week, but I can also share with you now. I was a correctional officer in Pearl, Mississippi. I would travel back and forth to Pearl, Mississippi. I was staying in Detroit, but Pearl was like the next city or county over from Jackson, and I would go there to work, and trying to see how this happened. We were starting to like go on like little trips, like every other weekend. Me and Tish and the children. I think it was before Mike, or before Mike was born. But we was doing that, going on little trips and stuff. I'm trying to see what more that was going on that I can say and really talk about. Got other visions that I would like to share as well. I remember when I think I shared about me floating across. The last face I seen was my sister, Irene, when I was floating across. I think I shared that already as well. Just others. It's like a lot I want to say, but it's just not there to say, or how to really break it down. And I don't know how to go through it. If I was making a book or whatever, how it would all just start to unfold and come out. But this is just some of the things I just wanted to share at this point, for maybe a later time. That's the reason why it's called The Life of Mikael, Question and Answers. Is there anything you wanted to share at this point in time, G1, about what I'm sharing, or anything that I've shared so far?
You know what? I actually remember you kind of went over this part a little bit. I don't remember what part back in when, but yeah, you kind of went over a lot of the stuff that I heard you talk about. So yeah.
Okay. So if that's the case, that was some of the things that happened before me leaving. I just know that now it's come to the point where me and Tish is getting ready to separate because we used to have like a lot of house party. I ain't even tell you too much about Nathan. Nate was another brother that was with us, and me, Nate, brother Page used to have house gatherings. I don't say parties, but gatherings where we used to come play dominoes or cards or whatever. We used to all go over there, have like little get-togethers and stuff like that. I did it a few times as well. Um, you know, just trying to remember as much as I can before I move on into going into Atlanta. But I remember having my place and um, uh, remember having a place, and just before I left, it's like a lot that's right there. Before I left, I had a place that I was staying at. Me and Tish, which is the children, Michael, my youngest children, mother was staying there together at one time, but she was trying to leave again. Was trying to leave again. Didn't know if she met somebody or not, but whatever happened. But she was trying to leave again. I told you about her, letting her have the checks that was coming in, even though I didn't know what was coming in, didn't ever look at it, what have you. She ended up separating. She stayed with her father. She was staying with her father, and I was staying at the house. Then, mm, then mm, she was staying with her father, and then I can't remember too much on that point. I can remember a lot, but I don't know how to put it. I was still working as a correctional officer, and think the car went, whatever vehicle we had got messed up. So I'm traveling around, going back and forth to work, trying to get things together. Now I'm getting ready to move to Atlanta. I helped my cousin move first. I ended up helping him move, and then while I was there, I thought about moving that way. And, oh, I forgot to share with you about the situation that what happened as I was a correctional officer. Um, this is a certain situation that happened with me where I can say I got attacked, but you know, me and me and one of the prisoners, we was talking. I used to be trying to be cool to everybody. And I used to try to talk to everybody and give them understanding about certain things that's going on, about the mark of the beast. I used to always talk to them when I used to take them to eat. So I would talk to them, to the prisoners. Another point, I would talk to the prisoners as I take them. They call it go feed. Say they talk like cattle. They say when we take them to feed. I just say when we take them to go eat. So we take them to go eat. They were sitting there, and while they eating, I'll be just giving them information. Y'all need to check out these books. If you didn't know about uh, what's the main thing it's a book that we talk about. It's many of books I was sharing. Dang, I can't. I'm looking at the book right here and I can't think of it. It's one that everybody know. The Willie Lynch letter. That was one. I was telling them about the Willie Lynch letter. I was telling them about the mark of the beast and everything that's going on. So I will always talk to the prisoners, right? So there's one prisoner, I think he had an attitude because they were supposed to we were supposed to be telling them to get ready for bed, and one of them walk around. I had to actually yell. I said, "Man, go over there, have a seat, whatever." So I guess he had an attitude, and I didn't know. I was just telling him to go sit down because we supposed to keep order there. And so that I think the next day or two when I took him to feed or whatever. So he had attitude. So I said, "Man, come on out here, man, so I can talk to you in the hallway." So I'm trying to talk to him like a man, just talking to him, and the dude hauled off and punched me, right? And he stung me because when he hit me, actually had glasses on. He hit me. I went down. I remember going down. I caught myself after I hit my knee. And that's when the other guards had jumped him. But at this time, I had sprained my ankle. So at this time, I think this was around February. This was around February of 2003, because I moved in 2004. So this was February of 2003, and I ended up being on leave because I sprained my ankle. so I really couldn't work at this time, and they had me on. The doctor had me on leave. So now I'm off work, but I'm still getting paid. I think workman's comp. So what ended up happening is that now I'm off. Now I think my cousin was talking about moving to Atlanta, and in between that is when I had like conversations about me and my children's mother. And this one sister said, well, and I was telling her about the dream I had. She said, well, she's from Compton. Well, the Compton women are like this. They're like this. She kind of explained the type of women that they are. Say, well, you're not this and that, but they just like this. So, and then that skull and crossbone that was still there when it paused, and that means like she was like poison. So it was because of the attitude and everything the way she was. So end up helping my cousin to move to Atlanta. While I was there, now I'm off work from February until June. Now in between February and June, I'm still on workman's comp and living doing what I'm doing. But me and her, we done separated. Me and the children's mother, we done separated. So like I said, I helped my cousin move, come back. I'm getting my stuff together. I had a whole lot of VH1s with a whole lot of copies of VH1 with what was called it behind the music. Do y'all remember behind the music or scenes behind the music, whatever? When they talk about all the different stars and stuff like of their life and stuff like that. I was recording a lot of those on the VH1 tapes, right? And I had those. That's a lot of stuff I had, and in between me helping them move, and then when I first helped them move, I went down to the Twin Towers, downtown Atlanta, and applied for a correctional job there. End up coming back, and I came back, was getting everything together, went back out there to Atlanta. I think I helped Butch and move something else, or I came back the second time to secure my apartment, right? Because me and her had already separated. She had the children. Now, she had the children, but the children would be with me, then she would get them. So I went back out there to secure the apartment and to go check on because I got 2 weeks later after coming back, I ended up getting a job in, I think it was Alto, Georgia, but it was way out. And my car got messed up. My car wasn't all that, but it ended up messing up. And I remember I had like a Trans Am, a red Trans Am, I think it was. My brother Shalene had sold me. He was selling cars at the time. He was selling cars at the time, so I ended up getting that. But I was running. It was a used car, so it wasn't new. But yeah, still, I was running that baby. I was going back and forth to Atlanta. They had to go to Alto, Georgia, and that was way out. I said, I can't come out here to work, So I didn't get that job, but I had already secured the apartment. So now I'm back. I come back to Mississippi. My house man broke in. Then somebody broke in, came in through my side window, went in, took a lot of my stuff. So I just got all my stuff ready, packed it up, and I made my move to Atlanta the last time. So that was the beginning, and that was supposed to be ready for me June 1st, 2004. I get back there on the 1st, the apartment wasn't ready. That's when I met my brother Gabriel. Excuse me, my brother Gabriel out of Atlanta. I stayed at his house the first night. Had all my stuff in my car on the two-wheeler, and all my stuff in the U-Haul. Stayed with Gabriel the first night there. I got to meet people when I was coming back and forth, but stayed with him the first night. Next day, I moved into my apartment, and it was not too far from my cousin Butch and his wife and family in Norcross, and I was there. So now I'm there. And was there for a few months and end up being there. End up being feeling sorry for a brother named Daniel. Right now, he was standing in the basement of his girl house, of his woman's house, not his woman, his ex woman, but he was in the basement and he was next door to my cousin. And we got, me, I'm always trying to help people. And I come to find this out later on as well in my journey. You don't help everybody because you never know who the creator is whooping. You never know who the creator is doing what he's doing when somebody's going through something. You'll never know. So sometimes people may be going through something. I'm just sharing this with you just for face value because I end up going through it. I end up getting caught up and I got a good whooping behind it. The reason I'm saying that is because I had let him move in with me, not knowing his background. He seemed like a cool brother. He had been to prison or just got out of prison or whatever. But me trying to help people, he moved in with me. He was with me for a few weeks. He was with me for a few months. But I had the bedroom. He stayed in the front room. Not knowing this. See, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you try to help people. People have habits, and I'm not saying. No, I was living under the creator still. I was still keeping me trying to help people and not realizing how people are. Sometimes you can bring people into your life, and they can bring their situations with them or their spirits with them, and they can become or disrupt your life. I'll put it like that. So what ended up happening, long story short, on that is this. Let the brother stay with me. Me and him, we was cool and everything. But he smoked weed. I had stopped smoking. Well, I didn't hit the joint with him, and then now he got some friends coming by. Hit the joint with him and some friends a few times. Every time I got put like the long story short, I got it. Every time I get a job, good job. End up losing the job. Got another job. Lose a job. I put in a security downtown Atlanta. Lost that job. I'm like, man, not realizing what I was going through. Not realizing it. And didn't realize by helping this brother, and he's bringing in certain people of friends of his. Now, they are beginning to spend the night and stuff like this. This is what I mean by you can bring something in, and then they're bringing I wouldn't say drama, but their friends or whatever, and that energy and that company is not good company. See what I'm saying? And that company and stuff like that end up coming into your atmosphere, and this is where your atmosphere started to get tainted. Like I said, I had stopped smoking, and I hit a joint a couple of times, just hanging with them, whatever, what have you. And found out that they sniff. I never did it, just letting you know. And I found out they did that, So it was just things that was coming in that I didn't understand. I end up losing that place, or I moved out. Or I lost the place because of number one is if I'm not working. And I've always been the man to keep my. A matter of fact, the brother in Mississippi, when I moved in there, he said, "Man, you can always come back. I take care of my bills. I take care of my business and my situation. I'm always on top of that. So, but if you ain't working, you can't pay your bills. So I think first I was getting ready to work for U-Haul when I first got back. I did work for them for a moment over there off of Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Jimmy Carter Boulevard near not too far from, I think that's 85 or 285. 85 or 285 Jimmy Carter Boulevard. I was there first, and then I ended up being transferred near downtown. I think I was staying down that way as well at the time. I was down there off of 20. It was 20, but what's the name of it? It wasn't Peachtree, but it was in the further down, going towards West End. It was one off the side street over there. I can't even think of the street name right now. But yeah, I think Peach Street turned into another street. You're right down there, and I was actually the man over that U-Haul. You know, I was making sure all the oil and everything was changed and keeping the trucks cleaned out. And it ended up being me being the only one there. Everybody else, I don't know if they were taking days off or whatever, but I ended up being the only one there. And all these trucks come in, and then dude, he inside, and he wants me to just. I'm trying to make sure everything's together, and I'm the only one there doing the work. And I snapped on him. I snapped. I said, man, you want me to do all this? Man, I'm trying to keep these things together. I snapped on him. I quit. I just left. I said, man, I tell you what, you do it. Had me out there doing all that. I said, I tell you what, you do. I quit on him. Right? Yeah, I did. It was cool, but, you know, people act like they don't want to understand what you're going through, and you only one doing the work. And you know, when I do something, I put my best in everything I do. I remember that, and many other things that happened beyond that point as well. Now, at this time, that was in 2004. Now, this was when I first got this around 2004. Now, I remember being down in off Peachtree, and I was at a pizza place, right? And this is where I met my boy Mitch. Me and him got real tight. Me and him, we met at a pizza place. We met for the first time at this place. And we just hooked up. What's up, bro? Whatever. And we just kind of just vibe, right? So we switched numbers. And we connected, and we talked about the scripture, because he used to go to what's their name, Ben camp. He used to go to he used to be in Ben camp, right? He used to be with them. Oh man, there was a reason why. Oh man, it's the reason why I made my transition was because me, Shalene, and brother I forgot that it was an elder. Me, Shalene, and the elder. This is before me heading to Atlanta, but this is when I was separated from Tish, which is my youngest children's mother. But we was talking about trying to grow food. Oh man, it's like I said, stuff is coming back. We was talking about growing food so we can transfer food from Mississippi to Atlanta for the Soul Veg restaurant, right? Now I was the liaison to go back. I was the mouthpiece, right? Because I was traveling back and forth at this time. So I went to Atlanta, and me, Tish, and this time me and Tish were together. Me, Tish, and I don't think, was Mike born? Yeah, I think we had Junior at this time. Yeah, we had Junior at this time. He was born, and we ended up going to Atlanta. And I remember I was supposed to be getting hooked up, because it was this other brother at this time. This other brother that I knew, he was in Yazoo. He was in Yazoo. I think it was Yazoo, Mississippi. And I was hanging out with them, and he knew Ben Ami and them camp. He's supposed to be in like a connection with Ben Ami. If y'all know Ben Ami and the Kingdom of Yah. Kingdom KOY, Kingdom of Yah. So he's supposed to be connected with them. He said, man, they're going to take care of you, man. You go to Mississippi and go to Atlanta, they're going to take care of you. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. And I told y'all, I was already traveling at this time. Now, at this time, I think me and her was still together, and I don't think I was working at this time. Or at this time, we was doing traveling. I was still working, but me and her hadn't separated at this time. So we hadn't separated because we was going back and forth. So I was traveling, doing certain things. So we made a trip to Atlanta, and I was going to be the one who speak for. I was going to be the one who speak for us making the trip and trying to connect with Kingdom of Yah or Soul Veg to connect with them so we can start doing the situation with the food. What I'm getting ready to do, though, I'm going to start back on this in a few moments, because this part right here is coming up, and then I'm going to jump back from this point, then go back to the point of me moving that way. So we're gonna be right back with part 2 of me making the transition. Now I see the connection of how I started to get before leaving and getting to Atlanta. So we're gonna start back there in a few minutes. Other than that, I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwell, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see that Mikael is really me. And we'll be right back with part 12. This is be back for part 2, which would be part 12. We're in the life of Mikael, question and answer 11 and 12. We're at the end of 11, part 1, and we'll be in part 2 in a few moments, and we'll be right back. Other than that, I thank you for your time, your patience, and listening here, and your seeing now on Zoom. We'll be right back.
Recording stopped.
And for everybody else, if you'd like to get in contact with me, you can always call or text me at 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. What's up, Robert Craig? Yeah, that's why I always stay by myself, to keep my spirit intact. There you go. That's cool, bro. That's right. That's on point, bro. I'm glad I saw you over there. But other than that, like I said, you can always connect with me at 770-572-5315, or you can email me at lkhyym. That's lkhyym@gmail.com. You can always connect with me on YouTube or X, formerly known as Twitter, at JuicePro33, which is JuicePro33. You can also connect with me on Instagram and or TikTok at the L'chaim_the Juice, which is spelled LKHYYM_THEJUICE, right? That's L'chaim_the Juice on Instagram and TikTok. And my other TikTok is Michael the Juice Harris, all together, which is spelled at MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. That's my other TikTok. My Facebook is Mikael space Harris, which is MI_CHAEL space HARRIS. All right. And for the full version, that was my Facebook. My full version is at JuicePro33 on YouTube. The full which is the video. Part 1 and part 2 is on the live, but the full video is on the JuicePro33, the video, as well as X, formerly known as Twitter, JuicePro33, and also my rumble.com/LKHYYM, rumble.com/LKHYYM, as well as patreon.com/LKHYYM. Again, that's patreon.com/LKHYYM. We'll be right back with part 12, which is part 2 of Mikael's life question and answers. Part 2. This is in the part 1. And for Instagram, we'll be right back. I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. We'll be right back. Love you. Appreciate love you and always. Peace. Be right back. All right. Brother Craig, I'm glad you're still in over there, bro. We'll be right back in a few minutes. But I'm going to say bye first. This. And over here on Facebook. Like Etna, I think you're still watching, cuz. I'm glad to see you here. Other than that, we'll be right back with part 2, which is actually part 12 of Mikael's question and answers, life of Mikael, question and answers, in the part 1, which is 11, and we'll be right back with part 2, which is 12. Thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Facebook, and always. Peace. All right. right. And over here on YouTube Live, we'll be right back with part 2, which is part 12. I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Craig, I hope you come right back. I'm going to see you right back. We got 2 people here. I don't know who the second person is, but other than that, see you in a few moments. Peace.